Just a couple of days ago, I showed you guys one of the newest additions to Fallout 4's modding scene that was Sim Settlements Conqueror. In that video, I talked about why that mod was worth reinstalling Fallout 4 and kicking off a totally new save game. It adds that much new stuff to do and really just breathes a whole bunch of fresh air into the story. If you missed that video, you can click down below or click in the little eye, but if you are one of those people that recently started a brand new game or even working on your mod list right now, then this video is going to be great for you because I'm going to be showing you 8 of the coolest mods to come out for Fallout 4 over the past 2 weeks or so. Most of them are within the 2-week window. A couple of them are stragglers that fall a little bit outside of it. Either way, if you guys do enjoy the content, you can leave a like or subscribe. You guys gave me a lot of support on that previous Fallout 4 video, so I'd love to see more of it if you guys want to continue seeing this content. But either way, kicking things off, we do have the Ithaca Model 37 pump shotgun. As you could guess by the title, it's going to be a brand new pump shotgun mod for Fallout 4, but this one's special. This is going to be by a mod author known as Doombase. Some of you guys know this name because he was at the top of Fallout 4 modding quite a few years ago now. Well, he is back, actually already having 2 mods posted. I'm only going over this one though, and in effect what it's going to add in is a brand new pump shotgun, something that Fallout fans of all shapes and sizes really seem to love. So at the end of the day, the Ithaca Model 37 isn't all that crazy. What you see is kind of what you get. It looks pretty good, the animations definitely are pretty nice, and the sounds top it all off to make it a mod that I think is worth downloading. Even beyond that, one of the other notable features, this actually has a slam fire option, making it so you basically shoot it at a semi-automatic to almost fully automatic rate of fire. This definitely contrasts the typical pump action animation because that one's a lot more deliberate and slow. Either way, it's definitely a top tier pump action shotgun mod if you're looking to add another one to your arsenal. But then moving on, we have Commonwealth Gunfire Overhaul, and this is a really big mod. In effect, what it's going to do is change the weapon sounds of almost every single weapon in Fallout 4. And when I say almost, I mean every weapon except like 2 or 3. And naturally, as a sound mod, it should kind of speak for itself, so just take a listen. So I'll be honest, with this mod in particular, I don't love every change sound. I like a lot of them. I think overall it's a positive change, but one of the best features of this is it's just refreshing and different. If you're like me and having put in just about 1,000 hours into Fallout 4, having different sounds for all of the weapons is invaluable. You are so used to hearing these same sounds over and over again, whether it be fighting raiders or super mutants or some kind of other enemy that you've seen countless times. And just the fact that these sounds are pretty high quality as well as different is enough for me to really like this mod. This mod, of course, also affecting enemies, so as you approach some of their bases or encampments, you're going to hear a whole plethora of sounds you're not familiar with. Overall, it's a really nice improvement. It's something that I think I'm going to stick with for a little while, and I'm sure every once in a while I'll switch back to vanilla sounds and then back to this mod just to keep things fresh and interesting. If you like the wheel menu from Fallout 76, Fallout 4 wheel menu will probably also tickle your fancy. Even though these 2 mods look fairly similar, in function they're actually quite a bit different. The Fallout 4 wheel menu mod is going to make it so after assigning a hotkey, you now can hit that key and open up this wheel menu. Each of the different segments are going to be different categories you commonly use in your inventory, such as grenades, weapons, chems, food items. And it's going to show you all the items in that category so you can quickly, typically while in combat or doing something else, either eat something or switch weapons or assign a grenade. And honestly, it is really useful in practice. You could set how much of a slow time you'll have in the background. It doesn't freeze time, just slows it down like VATS in Fallout 4. And for obvious reasons, based on some of the categories added, this is especially useful in survival mode, when you do have to eat and drink and maybe you don't want to go into your inventory every time. Or if you find yourself in a tense firefight and you want to get that other weapon out. But even if you have all of that cool stuff, you need something to actually use it on, some practical method. And for that, we do have more feral ghouls, a zombie mod. What this mod's going to do is add in a bunch of new variants of feral ghouls. Now in practice, they're fairly similar to the traditional feral ghouls. They look slightly different based on whatever theme they have going on, and all of it is very lore friendly. Some of them are wearing their previous uniforms, other ones have gotten maybe a little bit extra feral, and all in all, I really like this mod. It adds in a ton of variety to this faction, and as the mod author does say, he actually uses this with another zombie mod. So you're going to find bodies of walkers just wandering around, and some of them will will constitute these new feral ghoul variants. I would especially say if you're going for kind of a spooky or horror theme in Fallout 4, this would be a cool addition. Quite a few of these aren't just like normal, they definitely are quite a bit scarier, and if you see one of them pop up and run at you in, let's say, survival mode or even just close quarters, I could definitely see it startling me. But then we do have the fan favorite from Fallout New Vegas, that with the anti-materiel rifle. So this was actually produced and created by Fallout 4 New Vegas, more specifically Toasty Fresh is the member that actually worked on this along with War Daddy. And to be frank, it is a fairly simple mod, but that doesn't make it bad. It's still a really good mod that you'll probably have a lot of fun using. It's meant to be a very true to form recreation of Fallout New Vegas's anti-materiel rifle in Fallout 4's engine, basically an updated or higher quality version of it. And I would say it without a doubt accomplishes that. As I mentioned, there's not a ton of customization options, although one of the real standout features of this one is the reload. It is very similar to the one we had in Fallout New Vegas, but even beyond that, it's very deliberate and slow. You'll definitely know you're reloading, and it's not the fastest reload out there. At the same time though, this does a lot of freaking damage. Depending on which difficulty and which mods, it will do in excess of 200 damage, making it right in line with a lot of the other very powerful weapons you could find in Fallout 4. It's definitely balanced pretty well. So whether you like it for nostalgia reasons or you just want to flesh out Fallout 4's weapon level list, I'd say this is a great addition to the game. It feels like it was already in Fallout 4. It fits right in, and if you're using a sniper character, it definitely is a ton of fun to play with this thing. Let's say Fallout New Vegas somehow wasn't your cup of tea. Alternatively, we do have the HK-G11K2, this being one of the weapons that appeared in Fallout 2. This mod's a little bit different in the sense that it actually starts off with a very short quest involving you having to find a brick, and you get some options as to how you want this weapon implemented into the world. This one has a bit more customization options, but even this, I feel like the real standout is just the core weapon itself, how it fires, the animations. It's unique in the sense that it does have single, burst, or fully automatic fire modes, but even beyond that, the animations are pretty much unlike anything you've seen before, simply because there's really no other Fallout 4 mod that has animations quite like this. For some of you, maybe the appeal of this one is also the nostalgia effect, but I think in general, it's just a really cool weapon. It's quite a bit different than a lot of the other stuff we tend to have, and even just as your character is holding it, you can definitely tell that it feels a bit more unique. There also are additional quests for other unique variants that you can find throughout the world. Then we do have the Kriss Vector. So this is one that is a ton of fun, and it's like one of those guns that's just stupid fun to use. The Kriss Vector has an extremely high rate of fire in pretty much all of the video games it appears in, and it's no exception in Fallout 4. Like a lot of the other mods on this list, it has various customization options, this one definitely being quite a bit more fleshed out in that area. You can change some of the barrels, the attachments, even some of the colors that you do see, and of course there are a plethora of different scopes to choose from, but where this mod really shines is simply when you're firing it. Whether you're mowing down groups of enemies or just singular enemies at a given time, the rate of fire on this thing is ridiculous. Some of the magazines to go along with it are also ridiculous, which almost makes it more enjoyable. And I would say more so than anything else, this mod is very self-aware. It probably knows exactly what you're going for, something that's high rate of fire and kind of tactical, and it brings you all the different features you would want to do that. But speaking of tactical, is going to be the RobCo Recon Scope. This is actually going to be a replacer mod, replacing the vanilla Recon Scope with this new and improved one. And typically, I wouldn't even cover mods quite this small, but there's two things this mod really has going for it. First and foremost, it is an extremely high quality scope. It is only just this one scope. What you see right now is the entire mod. But at the same time, after using this mod on a couple of the different vanilla weapons, you'll realize how often the scope is just on your screen or in your face. You spend a lot of times looking at scopes in Fallout 4, so a mod, even just adding one in, is actually pretty useful. Again, it is just going to be a replacer for the Recon Scope. As you're zoomed in, it's identical, but as you're running around, it obviously looks like this new one. This will apply to all the vanilla weapons that do have Recon Scope attachments, and I think it goes without saying that this is a significant improvement over the vanilla options. But speaking of mods that add in a ton of cool scopes, we also do have the AK-400. This is going to be the latest and greatest by FX0X01 and all the other people that tend to work on these mods. Effectively, the AK-400 is going to be a new prototype version of an AK that was lost in a plane. You'll have a short quest associated with getting it. And actually is pretty cool. Even though it's super short, it's one of the more original short quests out there. But as with just about every mod this group of individuals puts out, this one checks all the boxes. It's extremely polished, featuring custom animations, custom sounds, as well as there's several different attachment options, mostly being again in that scope department. If you guys have been looking for a more modern take on the AK, this is definitely going to be the mod you're going to want to download. But then last but not least, we actually have Intensity. This is going to be a little bit of a different mod in the sense that it's bringing some features to Xbox One that are not super common. A good chunk of the people playing Fallout 4 on PC use an ENB. That's how you get the game to look like this. It changes some of the lighting effects, sometimes the depth of field, and several other visual changes. Due to the way these ENBs are set up, you can't actually use them on consoles. They're not compatible with that modding format. Although we just got this new mod, Intensity, that's going to bring you something similar. It's going to allow you to change several of these settings in the game, including saturation, brightness, contrast, all of this being very easy to modify and adjust to actually make the game look how you kind of want to. Even further, there's several blur settings, which happens to be one of my favorite parts of ENBs, especially while filming videos. It's how I get shots like this, where the gun is in the foreground, but then everything else is in the background, nicely blurred out and obscured from your view. The Intensity mod certainly isn't perfect. You can't accomplish everything that you could with an ENB, but it certainly is better than nothing, and I imagine a lot of you guys will have fun just tweaking with some of the visual settings. By the way, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the Fallout 4 part of this video. Hopefully you found this informative. Hopefully some of you guys did recently get back into Fallout 4 or even just re-downloaded the game. Again, if you haven't checked out my Sim Settlements Conqueror video or even just the mod itself, I would highly recommend doing so. Several of the mods I recommended in this list would be a great tandem piece with that other mod, and I'd say it's actually a great time to start a new playthrough with all these cool new releases. But either way, that's pretty much going to wrap things up for this one. As always, again, I thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and with that, I hope to see you all tomorrow with another really exciting video.